Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Coda of Soda. So today, we're here live in Georgia, and we went to a local Ace Hardware, same Ace Hardware that I've mentioned countless times throughout the course of this series. They've been really helpful with trying to with acquiring obscure sodas that you wouldn't see in a typical soda market, and as a result it makes these videos more fun and interesting. So big shout out to Ace Hardware in downtown Tucker, Georgia. You're greatly appreciated. Alright, so in the meantime, we bought 5 root beers at this Ace Hardware. Well, technically 4 root beers, 1 sarsaparilla. But over the course of these next couple of episodes, you're going to see me review each of these root beers in either pairs or individually. And in this episode, we've got a pair of root beers that we're going to review, one of which is a root beer that I did not even know existed. So let's get this party started. So today we are reviewing Triple X root beer and Oak Creek Blonde root beer. This is the first time that I've ever encountered a blonde root beer ever. And quite honestly, I never even knew these sodas existed. Like, it's crazy. But that's the whole definition of obscure sodas. Sodas that you never even knew existed, but do. So, let's get started with the review. Let's talk about Triple X root beer first. Triple X root beer. This root beer very much reminds me of Cicero Salt and Caramel root beer, which I reviewed like a lifetime ago. This soda is very caramely. It's very rich in its flavor. But at the same time, it also has a very strong balance with the fizziness as well as provide an excellent aftertaste. Like, this is a very well-rounded root beer. And that is something that, oftentimes you don't really see that much because every single root beer has its own unique trait that kind of separates them from the rest. For example, A&W is more of a creamier root beer. It has a thick fizziness, but also has a very iconic flavor and aftertaste. Barks root beer is more known for its bite. It's more known for its very sharp aftertaste. And then Muggs root beer is more known for, its flavor as well as its fizziness. And, with a lot of these obscure root beers that I reviewed, like the aforementioned Cicero Salt and Caramel root beer, its flavor is very unique. It's very unique. But this one has the best of all of those root beers, except for the bite. I will say, this root beer does have a very weak bite to it. Like, it's not as sharp, and it's not as, in your face as, take, for example, Barks. But it's still very nice. This is a very nice and refreshing root beer. I really like it. So, with that said, that's Triple X root beer, and now let's talk about the most unique soda that I've probably reviewed so far. That is Oak Creek Blonde root beer. So, never once have I ever thought or imagined that a root beer would be blonde. Never. Because typically when you think of root beers, you're thinking of caramel color, you're thinking of really thick fizziness. You're thinking of creaminess and all that stuff, but you never really think of the possibility of it being different colors. But overall, it's just a very, very pleasant experience, and it's just a fantastic. It's just a fantastic experience. What more do I need to say? The flavor is very unique, as well as the fizziness and the aftertaste. The aftertaste is absolutely phenomenal. But sort of like with Triple X, root beer, you have its bite is pretty weak, and its flavor is very weak. but the aftertaste makes up for it, absolutely. The fizziness is also really good in this soda. It's just your typical root beer fizziness, but nothing really to complain about. This is a very, very good soda. So now, when it comes to comparing these two sodas together, I'm going to give the slight edge to Triple X Root Beer, mostly because I just love the balance of all of the main qualities of this soda more than I do with Oak Creek Blonde Root Beer. Although I will give this soda here, Oak Creek Blonde Root Beer, credit for being an extremely unique soda and a high rarity when it comes to root beers. But overall, I will most likely reach for Triple X more than I will Oak Creek. So that's just my preference there. But now, enough about that. Let's do the taste test. Let's start with Oak Creek Blonde Root Beer. Cheers. Very good. And now, Triple X Root Beer. Cheers. Very good stuff. Alright, so with that said, that concludes this edition of Coda of Soda. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.